everyone, it's Sonia. I hope you had a wonderful holiday, however that looked for you. I know for myself, I enjoyed my outdoor social distanced barbecue. Not exactly the usual Thanksgiving, but very, very grateful that I got to spend some time, at least with part of my family, my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, niece, and all of my kids and husband. So that was really, really nice, and I felt grateful that we were able to figure it out. So hope that was for you too, however that played out. Today I want to talk about an emotional home base. What is that? So I'll start with a question. Do you ever notice in a friend's family or yourself, sometimes it's easier to see it in other people first, that people have a go-to place, an emotional go-to place? So perhaps when they're stressed or they're presented with a challenge or sort of emotions might be slightly elevated or heightened, what is that go-to place that they land at? Is it overwhelmed, or I'm so frazzled, everything is so stressed, I don't know what to do, or I'm so confused, I'm just so confused, like I can't figure it out, it's confusing. Or maybe they're angry and blaming people and it's always somebody else's fault or something else that happened. It's, an entire industry's fault. You can figure it out, but it's not about me, it's about somebody else. Or maybe they just check out completely. They just zoop, like a blank slate, like doesn't seem as though anything is landing whatsoever. Or maybe they're just down or depressed or go to sleep. So what is that place? We get wired to have a little bit of this emotional space, and I've been looking at it a lot for myself lately, as well as other people, clients, and noticing it in friends. But for myself, I've noticed that overwhelm is my go-to emotional home. Don't love it, looking to change it, but in really, really being honest about it, that's partly what happens. It keeps me in that sort of heightened, oh my gosh, it's overwhelming, there's just so much to do, and I got this and this and this and this, and it's frazzled, and it's very convenient to stay there because that is a very convenient excuse to not get to where I actually want to go. But we'll talk about that later. Let's first identify what it is for you and what happens. So I was with a friend not too long ago, and I spent a couple of hours with her around outside. She actually was looking for some help because she was feeling a little lost. And I noticed in the course of our time together that she said the word confused or confusion 24 times. At first it was just, I was like, oh, she says I'm confused a lot. I'm just so confused about direction. It's all so confusing, and then I realized it was happening more and more. So I started counting, and at the end I shared that with her. She was both horrified and laughing all at the same time. Like, oh my goodness, I had no idea. So take a look at your language. That is a place where it will show up. Also your physicality. How do you hold yourself? Are you in an angry state? Or are you like me, where everything is just like, in that higher pitched place? Are you down or checked out? Those are some of the sort of go-to places that I notice the most. But there are nuances around each of those. So what is it? Or maybe you're like super in charge. You hit that place of challenge, or stress, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna take this on. Maybe you're the overachiever and you go head on into it, and maybe that's working for you. We'll see. But whatever that is, so take a look and notice. And then the question would be, is it what do you gain really first, and what do you lose? So often, even in our worst behavior, we gain something. Most of the time it's certainty, right? So we know what we're going to get in that state. And even if we don't like it, some of us just want certainty so badly that we're willing to stay in a place of certainty around things that we don't necessarily want. And so when you call it out, then you typically don't want that. But there is an unconscious sort of going to what you know. And what else do you gain by it? For those perfectionists, I will speak for myself, staying in states of overwhelm or frazzled or whatever you want to call that. Convenient, right? Because you don't necessarily get to where you want to go, but it's, because it was so overwhelming and there were so many things going on, and it's really easy to stay in that space as opposed to getting down to the job at hand. People who blame people or get angry, much, much easier to put the responsibility on somebody else and not necessarily take a look at what are you contributing to that. You get the point. So what are you gaining? What are you losing? And that's a real key thing. What are you losing? Or are you gaining so much that you want to keep it going? That's good too. If you're in that emotional home space that's working for you, go for it. And if you're not, what are you losing by not making a change now? And do you really want to lose that for the rest of your life? I would guess not. I certainly don't. So then what can you do about it? So we said noticing it is first. We really are starting to take a look at it. And then in those heightened states, what is it that you would like to do? What would serve you better? What would be a more resourceful, a better, more helpful place to go? And then what do you need to believe? What actions do you need to take in order to do that? And then when you're in that heightened state and you notice you're going into your go-to place, how can you break that pattern? And that's ultimately what we're going to do, is we want to continue to break. And you can break patterns in a variety of ways. You can physically change what you're doing. Go exercise, go motorcise, which will get you moving and changing your mindset all at the same time. Or go do something different. Just shift out of it. Change the pattern. Then take a look at what you want. Or you could just do the stop technique. Stop, move it away. What do you want? Pull that in. And then take a look at what would serve you better. What is a better emotional state that you can do? And continuously practice that until that becomes more of your new emotional home base. So it can take a little bit of time. Obviously, you're patterned for doing something probably for a better portion of your life, and now we want to shift it. It's okay if it's a little messy at first. It probably will be. Stick with it. You're worth it, it's possible, and it will get you better results. So that's where we're going to leave things today. I want to ask you, what is your emotional home base? What are you gaining? What are you losing? Is it serving you? And what would serve you better? Let's break that pattern and shift into doing what would serve you better and practice it. And that will help you ultimately shift that home base, make you feel better for sure, and ultimately, that will have a domino effect of better results. So, on that note, have a fabulous week. Go out and shine.